That's why I feel like if I was going to start over today, not in the climate that I was in when I started, but if I was going to start over today and I had to pick something to start with, it'd be a UV for sure. Because it just does fucking everything, dude. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Laser Source Podcast, the number one podcast if you like digging into lenses with Paul Blart. Just kidding. Anthony's got, you've got like you don't look like Paul Blart, but you look like that guy when he's in King of Queens, but like a handsome version, you know, instead of like like the handsome version. Like you're actually cut right, you know? You got the like deep eyes you can get lost in.
My deeply recessed eyes with the black circles.
Yeah, that's hot. That's why I'm married. My wife took one look at me and she's like, damn, you look overworked and tired.
Keep her.
Give me on that. What up, dude? How are you?
Good, man. Good. Just been busy. Some small projects, but like I have this big sign I've been working on behind me. It's a big.
Yeah, let me try to see. Try to show me one more time. Let me see. It's like low bit rate right now, but maybe it'll show up on the edit. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. You can see it now. Mm-hmm. But it goes like literally the entire length.
Was it you or was it them?
It wasn't me because I put it in and out of my laser like this. So I know it wasn't a drag mark. Because that was my first thought was, how did I do this? But I was like, no, there's no way, because when I fed it into the laser, it was widthwise. It never would have gone in that way. So, well, I don't know.
It's cute that you're trying to buff it out, but I don't think that's going to happen. Once acrylic's fucking banged, I mean, I've never been able to get... buffing plastic in general in my career, I don't think has ever worked out for me, like once. I don't know why.
I used to do headlights when I was doing auto detailing, so I thought, oh, maybe I can do something, but I don't know. I'll probably
headlights aren't plexiglass, are they? Are they acrylic? Are headlights like covered?
There's some sort of polycarbonate, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's different. Polycarbonate and acrylic.
Similar, isn't it?
It's no.
Okay. Well.
I don't think so, dude. But yeah, that sucks. Right before the show, you told me, again, you guys are used to this because you listen to the podcast all the time. I have like a crazy tangent that I can go on, but before I do that, I want to try to actually talk to Anthony about anything, even remotely, possibly laser related, before I do that. So right before we started, I told you to wait because you said you'd been getting into lenses. And so now please tell me what that means, because we didn't actually talk about it before that.
I spent like a whole Saturday a couple weekends ago and then have gotten in touch with a few people, but I wrote down, I shared it on Discord too, all these notes.
Oh my God, dude.
On lenses. So like I've kind of like cracked into some of the stuff that I think a lot of people just didn't know about. There's a lot of like terminology and different things like that. So yeah, this is a whole day's worth of research. And then I actually got a hold of two different PhDs, one that works with lasers doing government contracting, and another who has a PhD and works with SIL optics in Germany. And I reached out to her because I read a scientific paper she had written about f-theta lenses. And I was like, hey, random thought, let's email this lady and see if maybe she'd be willing to have like a little email exchange, or maybe even a sit down conversation about different things that I'm not quite sure about. And in searching the internet, there's really not a lot of information out there about f-theta lenses. There's just not. Google's educational platform, I can't remember what it's called, but they have published papers on there. And I spent a huge chunk of that one day reading probably 24 scientific papers written about like the performance of different f-theta lenses and how they work and this and that. And it was just like really eye-opening and educational. And so I'm just kind of prepping all this with the hopes of putting together an educational video on the importance of and function of f-theta lenses. So,
wow. Well, that is a lot. Give me an excerpt from your little journal there. Like what kind of
fused silica. Like there's a lot of people don't realize there's three main ways that, or main materials that the F theta's are made out of. There's optical glass, or they refer to it as like canine glass. There's fused silica, then there's fused quartz. Fused silica is actually like some way crazy chemical that's a gas that they pump into a chamber, and then they introduce oxygen and a flame, and it creates a vapor that when it cools is fused silica, and it's pure silica. So it's
that's interesting. I would sit and read about that. You would sit and read about that. Rhiannon wouldn't. Why does it matter to Rhiannon?
Yeah, who cares, really? Okay, let's give you a new one.
Well, no. I'm asking you for real. Like, how is that applicable? Like, there must be some reason that you wrote that down.
Just because that's interesting to to me.
Oh, okay. So we are just being nerds. We're just fucking, never mind.
Nerd.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm gonna have a sweatband and some like horn rim glasses on when I intro the video. I'm just warning people it's gonna be like a sweat nerd session, because it's definitely gonna have a lot of information. But like the SL, if you look at the serial numbers on lenses or around the brim or the rim, they have like that code. And there's like SL, which is just scan lens, TSL, which is a telecentric scan lens, which is way different type of scan lens than just your standard F theta. There's a SL2, which some of them are a 2-element lens, like your CO2 Galvo lens. You talked about that when we were doing all the
the compound lenses.
And there's even a SL3, and then there's SLA, which is an achromatic that's compatible with multiple different wavelengths. You could have a lens that's good for 532 and 1064, and it would be in one lens. So they have to have a special treatment, and it's basically two lenses in one, because the way that 1064 passes through light, it'll deflect at a certain angle, but 532 is going to deflect at a different angle. So they have to actually have compensation for that to make them both come out at the same spot.
Weird.
Yeah, and that's called an achromatic lens. So yeah, well, there's tons of stuff, but that's just kind of a one cool thing that.
Well, that's gonna be sick, dude.
I do appreciate your notes. They look very organized.
They do. I was gonna say it kind of reminds me of
7.
No, I was gonna be much nicer to you than that. I was gonna say Indiana's dad in The Last Crusade.
Okay, Sean Connery.
Yeah, Sean Connery's Notebook.
These are my notes on telecentric lenses.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna have a couple sit downs and then start producing this video. Hopefully,
nice. I am stoked for that. Yeah. When you're done, when you've absorbed, Laser Everything will back you on that 100%. So when it's ready, let me know, and we'll make a big launch out of it. But when you're done with all that, you and I, or you and ChatGPT maybe would be a better option, should sit down and write a very nice letter to this PhD lady asking her to come on the show.
Okay.
That would be nice. When you're done.
I'm not 100% sure English is her first language, but I will definitely,
Yeah, I mean, it can't be any worse than some of the other guests we've had on. So I think we'll be in decent
and
shape.
One other thing, if I could just bring it up. I'm not sure OPEX even exists, or is it a thing? Yeah, I think it's a marketing buzzword at this point. So that's one of the things I'm trying to figure out. But I feel like I've been a dog chasing traffic, this OPEX thing. So,
I think way back when I first started the channel and I made the OPEX versus standard lens video, I think what I was really doing was making a fused silica versus quartz video. I think. And I just didn't know it at the time because I didn't know enough about it or the manufacturers. And so I'm pretty sure that's what I was doing. But I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't have a journal of notes prepared in front of me. I feel like I could contribute to this conversation, but it really is complicated. There's a lot of like moving pieces. There's, different kinds of glass come from different provinces in China and Taiwan, and depending on where it gets made and what kind of materials it is. If you want to learn more about this topic, go mess around on, OE wavelength. Does that sound right?
Wavelength OE, yeah.
Wavelength OE. Go mess around on Wavelength OE and just like float around that website for a little bit, because you'll very quickly start to realize there's a lot more pieces to this puzzle than there seem to be on the surface. Even when Steven came from Mactron to visit the US and he came by here, I mean, we spent like 4 hours just talking about like glass and different manufacturers and things like that. And a lot of it went over my head. A good chunk of it was lost to the language barrier, but like it was extremely complicated, and I left it more confused than I entered it. So there's a lot there, dude. I'm really looking forward to what you find out.
Thank you.
You have the patience, I feel like, and the perseverance to go all the way down the rabbit hole. I like to like kind of stick my top half in, you know, but I don't like throw myself into it. You just like sink like a rock in the water.
Just the tip with Alex.
Just the tip with me, and with Anthony, you get the full length, you know. So if you're kind of a full length gal, go for Anthony. What's up?
Or don't.
I'm just chilling here. How's it going?
Good. We're just talking about Anthony's grinder profile right before you got here.
Nice.
No.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I can't hear anybody talk about Blender, the software, without wanting to turn it into Grinder. I don't know why.
Grinder.
They're like the same thing.
That makes sense.
Different.
Yeah. Gay dating site and 3D modeling software. Same thing. You got it.
Different type of model.
What's up with you, Kyle? Your episode published today. It seems to be doing well.
Nice.
Do you want to plug it?
Watched it?
Plug it. Tell people what it is.
Honestly, I don't even know.
It's the index video with the ornaments.
Oh, that one. Yes. As we were entering into the end of the holiday season, I had a last minute order. The index helped me smash through them nice and quick. It allowed me to kind of set it up and go to the other side of my shop and do like 400 other things and come back to it and reload it and then go back to doing 400 other things. And it increases your productivity, lets you worry about other things while the laser kind of just does its thing. And it's especially useful on the UV because you can only go so big with glass on a UV before you just don't mark or you don't get the mark you want. So the ability to mark like 4, 6, 8 things at a time with a nice small lens that does the job and you can't go bigger, the ability to expand that with a moving table helps.
This is the first episode ever entirely edited by Rhiannon, start to finish. Hey.
Yeah, I've done podcasts before, but this is my first real video.
Ooh.
A what?
Yeah. So leave some feedback for Rhiannon.
Don't judge it too hard.
Judge it super hard. No, we kind of rushed it a little.
Yeah.
Kyle has an episode he's doing that's more like an in-depth deep dive into the index. And so we'll spend a little more time on that one. But I think we've kept Ben waiting long enough for some kind of mention of his product. So we really wanted to get this one out quickly. But I do think it came out nice. So, and then you just finished another one, didn't you? Like 5 minutes ago. What was that one?
Just rendered. It was the Buffalo Journal.
The Buffalo Journal. That's right. So Kyle did a buffalo, like a leather buffalo journal project too. So you guys will be getting that. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. I kind of want to get more podcasts up. Not only did Rhiannon edit those 2 episodes, the entire backlog of Laser Everything podcast edits is complete.
Yep.
Thanks to Rhiannon. She did.
Nice.
Well, we didn't edit those nearly as much.
As much because we took a poll the last time we went live. I don't know if you guys remember, and we asked people what they wanted us to do, and the winning vote was very minimal edits and just kind of like get them out like as fast as possible. So that's what we did it, and it's done. Rhiannon did like 50 episodes of the show in 2 weeks.
All last week.
And the week before that.
Yeah.
Which is why we haven't been live. That's why we skipped 2, because we were just sitting here like on that grind. She was editing, I was posting. She was editing, I was posting. And then at some point we split paths, and I went to go work on some website stuff that I'll show you guys in a little bit, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, round of applause for Rhiannon for doing 50 podcast episodes in 2 weeks, because that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So starting today,
this one,
tomorrow, well, okay, not technically, but starting today, when we go live with a podcast, the edit will be out the next day, which is something I haven't been able to say in well over a year. So we're really excited to be able to start doing that again. So you guys will get to enjoy that. The reason I said not technically today is because because all of those edits are done, they're all edited, they haven't all been published, and I'm probably not going to publish 50 in a day. I don't think YouTube would like me very much if I did that. So over the next week or 2, you might see like 5 a day. I mean, it's going to be like a lot until we get caught up, but there might be like 5, 6, maybe even like 10 of them, if I can get that many done that quickly in order to catch us up as fast as possible. So they all might not be out by the next live next Tuesday, but they're done. Just so you guys know, they're finished, and I will upload them as quickly as reasonably possible without pissing off YouTube, which is really my goal. As far as the audio ones go, if you listen on like Spotify or like Apple Podcasts or whatever, those I'll dump in a day. So those will literally all just go up all at the same time, and that'll be that, and we'll dust our hands off. So if you do listen on like an audio service, all of that catch up will be done very soon. I just need to sit and press the upload button on them. So I'm really excited about that because I've gotten so many comments from people that are just like, hey, why is the audio podcast so far behind? And it's bothered me for a long time. So
yeah, and like seasonally / events, like that's always behind by a lot. It's like, oh, the event's already over. The event is already over.
Yeah. So. Yeah. We've definitely seen a lot of that during the edits, which has kind of been a bummer. Yeah. So those will be coming down the pipe shortly. So thanks for the push. We needed it. Super stoked about it. I guess I can show my thing if you guys want to see it, but I built some cool stuff.
There's a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Fake Illusion is asking, is there a way to manually sequence a file within a single layer on LightBurn? So I think they have multiple maybe images or vectors inside of one layer. You want to dictate which sequence it goes in.
Yes, you can. I need a minute though. So just for context, I've had the stomach flu for the last 3 days. So my brain is still not functioning. So I'm going to pull up LightBurn and look. I know.
We always joke about missing guests having violent diarrhea, and Kyle actually did.
Far worse than that. But yes.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Poor Kyle.
Are you wearing a diaper?
No. No. But I probably have some cracked ribs.
Kieran answered quickly. Yes, you can sequence by using groups and sequence numbers in the shape properties.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
I've never done that. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
So do you guys remember when I did music on the laser? I just never did a video on it. That's how I did it.
Oh, interesting.
Well, that's how I controlled what notes were going in anyway.
Right.
Oh.
So yes, I'll share my screen.
Have you guys seen the Portal song on a fiber laser? That's the best one.
Sure.
All right, you're big.
So over here, let's say you make a couple of shapes, right? Under optimization settings, you can go by group or order by priority. So you can also move these around. You can reset these later if you need to. And then the other thing you can do is when you go into shape properties, cut order priority 0.
Oh.
If you can order them by explicit number. So each of these, so if I set this to 1, and I set this to 2, and I set this to 3, each of these will have an explicit value assigned there. So even though these are part of the same layer, now you're seeing multi because I have all of them highlighted. That's what's going on.
How does it handle significant figures? Have you done anything that high? I'm sure you have. Like, is 9 90? Or do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, is 9...
Does that answer your question?
Yes. So, well, like, no. So, like...
I've gone up to, like...
You type in 10... Right? If you type in 10, is it assuming that the significant figure after a 9 without a 0 after it is there? Like, is it implying that, which would make the 990? Or does it assume that the significant figure is before the 9 and it assumes it's 09? You know what I mean? Like, which way does that go?
I don't know.
Okay,
my
so
brain is not following you.
You type 1, right? Then another object, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. You get to 8, 9. Okay, then you get to 10, but now there are 2 digits.
Yeah.
Okay, so like in a file system, if I have a file named 2 and a file named 10, the 1 0 is going to come before the 2, even though 2 is a smaller number. So do I have to type 0, 2 or no? Okay, that's what I'm asking.
So it's lowest value first. So number 1 is number 1, number 2 is then number 2, etc.
Okay.
And then it sees the invisible value before the value you put in. So
well, this is a great lesson. I'm going to use this all the fucking time.
Yeah, there you go. The other thing you can do is if you do I think it's order by priority only. There might have been another setting, but I think that was it. And then you just create objects, and then in the layer things.
If I order by priority and get rid of order by layer, and I change the priority back and forth between different layers, will it jump back and forth between layers?
No, I think it does it by layer still.
So it will still order by layers, even if I remove that from the optimization.
If you remove it from here, it will. I think that's how it works. Yeah, I've never done that, but logically, I would think it would go by priority and it would jump from one object to the next, regardless of layer at that point. I feel
like that could be really useful too in some scenarios.
It could be.
Especially on like large marks where I want to focus on like one section of the material at a time.
Yeah, why not? But if you do just by priority and skip the layer part, I guess that doesn't really matter either. By default, if you do just make a bunch of shapes and set the fill to like fill shapes individually, I think it will do them in order.
Right.
And all together.
Unless you explicitly tell it to do something different.
Right. I think, if I remember correctly, it would do it in order of creation, which is how I was able to skip having to set a priority value.
Yeah.
Because that gets old when you're hitting like several hundred notes on something creative like that. But when you're doing a project, that's kind of irrelevant. You would want to explicitly set it so you're not screwing things up if you're accidentally deleting and re-engaging something. You don't want to do it out of order by accident. Hope that helps.
Well, that was a great lesson.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Sorry, guys. I'm a little rough around the edges. Doing my best.
Well, so say we all. Well, I have some cool stuff to show, so I guess I'll show that now. We don't have any more questions yet, do we? I haven't seen anything. Kieran said, yes, Alex, it's numeric, not text. That's good to know. All right, guys. So I've spent an unreasonably long time on this, but you guys know I like to make places where people gather. That's like a hobby of mine, I guess. And so we've had these links up here for a long time, and they haven't all worked super well. But with all the recent news and stuff and everything that's been going on with the big tech companies, I've been getting super into the Fediverse, and I really wanted to create a Laser Everything space where you guys could join that if you wanted to. So I've made it a priority for me to get these spaces set up. If you're not familiar, it is a decentralized social network that takes many different forms. But the cool thing about it is that they can all talk to each other. So in theory, you make one account on one of these things that we're about to talk about, and then you can follow anyone on any of the things, regardless of whether or not it's the same platform, which is super cool. It's also nice because it's run by, thousands or, theoretically millions of nodes, rather than a centralized data processing center like something like Facebook or whatever. So they're up, and I just wanted to give you guys, I'm not going to do my super deep website dive that I always do, but just a quick tour to show you some of these really cool things that I've been working on, because I think they are really nice. First up, the network is not federated, so everything I just said is not true for network. You guys have seen network. It's been up for a long time now, and it's kind of like a Facebook clone. We may replace this with a Friendic instance in the future, which is federated, but I don't want to get into that right now. Anyway, here is that. So you guys have already seen that. Next up, we have Watch. Watch.makearmy.io is actually a PeerTube instance, and I do have the new registration set to open, so anyone can post videos to this. You could literally sign up right now and upload a video if you wanted to. It is not just Laser Everything's videos. Also, people like Anthony, looking at you, bro, can click one button, and sync your existing YouTube channel with our PeerTube instance. which is amazing. And the server will literally go to your YouTube channel and grab all of the videos that you've ever uploaded with all of the thumbnails and, all of the associated data, and like slap it onto your PeerTube account, which is super cool. So you can have almost a backup archive of all of your video footage and another place to watch it in case like YouTube ever just disappeared off the face of the planet. You would have it all here. And that's what I've done with the Laser Everything account. So if I click on this to watch this video and then we click Laser Everything, here you can see the Laser Everything channel along with the video we uploaded today. I did not upload this to PeerTube. PeerTube went and grabbed it on its own from YouTube and uploaded it to our server here. So this is super cool. This is federated, so it does work the same way. It's got a full live streaming suite, so people could stream live on this platform after signing up if they wanted to. There's also like comments and everything else you're used to from YouTube. It's all integrated and included here, and we host this on our own servers that we own. So it's really cool. If nothing else, it's a neat secondary place to consume Laser Everything content without ads. But I think that if some people in the community signed up for it, we could have like a cool little niche group over here if that's something you want to check out. So that's number 2. Number 3, guys, is Pixels. We've been experimenting with this for a while, but it's been kind of broken. And I finally have it not broken. And Pixels is the federated Instagram clone. So if you're more of an Instagrammer, if you like scrolling through pictures and things like that, this might be a cool place for you to check out. You do have profiles just like you do on Instagram with a nice grid of square images. So I've posted just some projects as I've kind of been getting things set up over here. So this could be a cool place to post some projects too. And one of the things that I like about this setup is that we can kind of share like work-related stuff. And when we're here in any of these spaces, like in theory, we'll only see other work-related stuff. So if you're looking for help or you're looking for inspiration, or you want to see what other people are working on, you can kind of just get that here without having to sift through piles and piles and piles of unrelated stuff. Again, this is all brand new, so it's not very populated at the moment, but you may find it interesting. So that's pixels.makearmy.io. The software that's running is also, again, open source and federated. It's called Pixel Fed, which is pretty neat. And then we have a Lemmy instance. If you're not familiar with Lemmy, this is kind of like the open source federated version of Reddit. And so this might be a little better for, asking questions or link aggregation if you're trying to share posts or news or whatever. So that is another option for you. And again, these are all, I think I can't stress this enough, and I'm still learning about it myself more and more every day. There's a lot to know, but because they're all federated, you can make an account on one of these things and then follow anyone on any of these platforms and get that data in your feed on whatever one you prefer to scroll on, essentially, which is really cool. So that's pretty self-explanatory there. And then there's one other one I haven't added a link yet, mastodon.makearmy.io. And this is essentially the Twitter or X clone, but the open source federated version of it. So we do host servers for all of them. I just wanted to put it out there as a resource for you guys. Some of you may not be into it, and that's okay. But for those of you who are looking for a secure server to kind of set up on and call home for a trip out into the Fediverse, you may find that the spaces that we've created are a good jumping off platform to do that from. And so I'm stoked about it. It took a lot of work, and I think they look pretty cool. So that's that.
Nice.
Yeah, I just summed up like 2 weeks worth of work in a minute and a half. But go check them out because it's super cool.
That last 10% takes forever, man.
That's
how it goes. I was scrolling back through to see what people were talking about in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Serenity was asking about the Omni 1 UV. Asking if we had an opinion about it. Omni 1 is a UV laser made by ComMarker. ComMarker is the brand where just before the B4 hit the market, the B4 made by them, he did a first look stream, basically kind of digging through it. And the main reason why a lot of people are looking at this right now is because of the price point. $4,000 for a 5-watt UV is kind of stellar, and it's got a motorized tower. with also, I think it's got a manual handle on top. So if you didn't want to use the motor, you could do the handle, I think. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it too much. But I sent an email over to ComMarker just before dying on Sunday. So maybe we'll hear back and we can take a look at it firsthand. As a brand, they've taken feedback from us on the B4 that they would implement it in future models. And we've had a lot of community members happy with the retail version of that laser. So I'd love to see what they did with this, to see what they changed and the improvements they've made as a brand over the last 2 years.
That does look like a little manual handle up there. So
yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty.
So that's kind of important with the UV, where you have such a fine focal range. I mean, even if the push buttons aren't super tuned, the benefit to that is if you have it set to go at high speed for quick focusing, you can use the handle for fine tuning. But it looks that way. I don't actually know if it's that way, but Resin Dragon Studios said they have one and they love it. So I'm excited to hear back from them. Hopefully, maybe we can get it in for firsthand look.
Resin says it is a manual knob, no handle, and it is motorized.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's been a lot of positive talk about this machine in the UV channel on the Discord server. There have been, I think, probably 4 or 5 people purchased these here recently, and they all seem to be really happy with it overall. There are some little nuances here and there, and I think there's a little bit of confusion as to what the actual capabilities as far as settings are available for that machine, because they state in some places a certain kilohertz range, and then they have people posting in their forums about, you know, how to get colors and stuff, and they're using kilohertz way outside the stated range. So there's, I mean, not a whole lot of like clarity as far as that, and they are using a source that was generated in-house, so it's their own source that they're making, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, overall it seems like a really good machine, especially at the price point.
Are we certain they're OEMing the source and it's not like a white label?
ComMarker themselves, they responded to an inquiry that a user on Discord shared, and it says that they developed the source in-house.
Interesting.
So I mean, I can't guarantee that, but that's what they say.
Yeah. Well, I can judge what I see, and what I see looks nice.
Another thing that some brands will do is they'll say it's developed in-house, but they'll work in tandem with a manufacturer that makes them already to reduce the cost of making something custom, and they'll make it to the spec that they want and specifics to what they're looking for.
Well, yeah, it's like an iPhone, right? It's like designed in California kind of a thing.
So that could be a factor, but I mean, if they developed it, good for them. I'm not trying to take that away from them, but it would be interesting to
curious.
Look at. Yeah,
more curious than anything else.
You have the Ingu, so we have a pretty good representation of what that's kind of like. I have the JPT, and Matt has the JPT, and Anthony has the JPT. So we have a pretty solid representation of that. So I'm kind of curious if this is going to be similar to either of those because of the way UV works with pulse width and frequency.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to be totally off doing its own thing with a totally different.
We should check in with Michael, because Christy says, I think I've seen Michael post a few videos about it. So,
okay.
Yep. I think from what I'm seeing, it's more similar to the JPT, but hard to say with no hands on, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully you'll get that soon.
It looks like a seal source. That's what it looks
kind
like. It looks like a black seal, but you know, again, no judgment. I don't know. I haven't had my hands on it, so I don't want to commit to saying anything about it that isn't true. But that's pretty cool. Was there anything else?
EY kind of had a similar thing where, have you seen the new heads from Bingyan? The Galvo heads have like a nodule on top of them where they're actually pumping the red dot through the top of the head instead of through a beam combiner. So for like the UVs, some people perceive a loss of power, and there's definitely a shift in your focal point when you put a beam combiner in with the red dot on like a UV. So at least that's what the feedback has been. Again, I haven't done it myself and had to experience it before and after, but somebody that put a beam combiner in said their focal distance definitely changed. And I could imagine adding an extra, you know, quote unquote lens or whatever could do that potentially. And then some people say that you use a little bit of power, but I don't know. But yeah, so they on the top of the galvo head, there's like a cutout and a thing sticking down, and it shoots a red dot down, and I think a red dot also in, so that you can use it for like alignment.
Yeah.
So you have your beam path that comes straight in, and there's a little bit of cant on a red dot that comes in and hits the mirror. On Discord, Bunny Washer shared some pictures, and it was actually pretty awesome, and it's cool to see. But
That's cool.
yeah,
I would
you don't have
love
to worry
that.
about the beam combiner now.
Yeah, the beam combiners. So I did testing once when I had access to Light Objects facility, and we made a video about it. And during that testing, I think we said on like a 100-watt tube, I don't want to misquote myself, but I think we lost like 5 watts of power through a beam combiner and gained it back when we removed it. So that was
5%.
5%. Yeah, right. So it's pretty small, pretty negligible. But I mean, if you're trying to squeeze every last little bit of power out of a low power source, 5% could certainly make a difference. And that was on
True.
CO2, so not a fiber or anything. So it's not at all scientific, just another uninformed hot take.
That'd be an interesting thing to see for sure. But yeah, they had said that they developed it with somebody when in reality the thing had existed for a while, and they just ordered that model. So I was just kind of, you had mentioned the ComMarker said they developed the source, and like Cubings just said, the Laser Star fiber had that. So his Laser Star from however many years ago already had that. So,
Yeah. So they're just shooting the red dot directly into the galvo mirrors.
yeah, instead of along the laser line
Interesting.
or the path.
I imagine it's probably using a field offset. So like, you know how in LightBurn you can like offset the Y and X by like, say a couple of millimeters if you wanted to.
Yep.
It's probably doing the same thing. It's just hitting a different part of the mirror, and then you just tune the offset, I would bet. Which
it looked like it might have been in an angle, which could possibly be hitting the same spot of the mirror, but I don't know. I'm not smart enough at this stuff to be able to say for sure, but it's pretty cool.
I mean, even if
Good
it's
concept.
hitting the incoming angle matters too. So like even if it's hitting the same spot on the mirror, I think it's the angle of incidence would be different.
Very true. Yeah.
The offset in LightBurn reduces your cutting area by the amount that
That's on a
set the offset.
gantry. Yeah, on a gantry it'll do that for sure.
Well, I guess on a galvo, if you have like a 100 millimeter lens and you offset your field output, you would be chopping off your work area too. That you wouldn't want to do that. I'm not saying that.
Well, I guess, yeah. But the offset would just apply to the red dot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, you wouldn't be able to light your entire workspace that your laser is capable of marking?
No, you should be able to. The mirror would be turning further, but you'd still want to be outputting it in the same spot as the beam would be. That's the point of having different offsets for the field and the red dot.
Yeah.
So if they're not coming from the same location, so to speak.
Resin says, I've been doing so many material tests with the Omni one over the weekend. Very interesting to see how a UV marks versus a fiber versus a CO2. The UV is like not even remotely close to the same thing. There are like parallels that you can draw between the fiber and the CO2. They're on the same end of the spectrum. They interact with materials in a similar way. The UV is just like a fucking magic wand. It's incredible. It does crazy stuff.
I just did a Romark little plaque today with the UV because the guy had a little trophy that he and his family keep for their fantasy football league. And he won, so he wanted me to put his name on it. And that was my first experience with Romark, and the UV did pretty well with it.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where I like doing just about. I mean, like if I can do it on the UV, I do it. You know, I only use the CO2 and the fiber for things that I can't do.
Yeah, like this guy.
Generally like depth or something, that's just so outrageously large that I need a gantry for it. But I mean, even metal, I've been doing on the UV unless something specifically calls for depth. I don't even touch the fiber because UV just does such a better job.
Yeah.
I liked it when we did like the drumsticks and stuff on it too.
Wood, dude.
Wood comes out so nice on the UV.
So nice.
Yeah.
So clean.
If you don't want the char, if you just want it to like, it's like using the erase tool in paint.
Dude, I'm not a char guy. I don't like. I like them
situational. I'm situational.
Yeah, for sure. People want different things too. Like some people want the contrast, some people want it to be subtle. So it's like, hey, we got settings for both. We'll make you happy.
Yeah, true. Gurian says, I need a UV. More than you know, dude. More than you know. That's why I feel like if I was going to start over today, not in the climate that I was in when I started, but if I was going to start over today and I had to pick something to start with, it'd be a UV for sure. Because it just it does fucking everything, dude. Just does everything. We talk about this on the show all the time.
Yeah. The fact that you can buy an accessible UV for less than I paid for my 30-watt fiber 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would do it too. If I had to start over a laser business over today, I would start with a UV. I mean, obviously, like diodes, but if you're going to start a laser business where you want to, be able to do as much as possible and kick out as much product as possible, I think the UV would be a no-brainer. And then
diodes like completely its own thing, right? I mean, we're talking about $300 lasers instead of for that. But once you get into, I think, like professional or even prosumer level equipment, something like the F1 Ultra, right? Or like this ComMarker, the Omni. Dude, I'm fucking ComMarker all day.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
It uses LightBurn successfully. So there's a big win right there. But
yeah, it's just too good. It's just too good. And if Matt were here, he'd be bitching about the limited lifetime expectancy of that. I use my lasers arguably more than a lot of people, and I've never had an issue with mine. And if it died tomorrow, I'd say I more than got what it's worth out of it for sure. But yeah, man, it's just like the lifespan. I don't think people realize what 100,000 hours is versus 10. When people say, well, you get 100,000 hours out of the fiber, like that's so much running time.
That's like 20 years of 8 hours a day.
It's insane. It's an insane amount of time, dude. Yeah. So even if I got, a tenth of that, okay, 2 years of runtime all day, every day.
If you're running it all day, every day, then you got the money to buy a new machine whenever.
I know, right? Like $4,000. Yeah, that's the thing. Is they're not $10,000 anymore. It's just
for a 3 or a 5 watt too.
Yeah. And if I'm open 8 hours, even on a busy day, I mean, the UV might run 2-3 hours. So 3 hours a day goes, and that's 3,000 work days, which 5 days a week, that's crazy.
Yeah. Statistically speaking, you're probably going to go through multiple power supplies and probably at least one head before your source dies.
If you can't,
something doesn't break unexpectedly.
If you can't buy a new one by the time you kill a source, you're doing something wrong.
For sure. You're working.
Resin's saying it. Resin's saying it right. Resin says, at the price point of $4,000, I will buy a new one when the $10,000 or 10,000 hours is up. Yeah, so true.
I mean, I bought my UV a year and a half ago, and I paid $6,500 for it, and now you can get a 10 watt with a chiller for that much, and the price for what a 10 watt used to be, you can now get a 15 watt, and that's in a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I mean, these prices, it's crazy how accessible UV is going to be. And I was saying that I think the last podcast we did, like, I'm personally going to crank up my UV footage and like coverage and stuff to try and help other people, because I see that path is now kind of like, I think that's going to be like the new hot thing. People might skip buying a fiber laser like they used to and go straight to the UV, especially if they do their research.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. That kind of scares me.
Fake Illusion says, is that 10,000 hours working at 100% all the time? E.g., it increases if using less power. No. So the reason why is a UV is based on a fiber. It's essentially just a filtered fiber laser, if you want to think about it that way. And the reason why it doesn't go down is because it's not based on load. It's just rated on working time. So
yeah, it's working 100% at 100% of the time. So there's no power scale to it's on or it's off.
And with the UV in particular, you're always on, like Anthony said.
Yeah, it relies on duty cycle, power, right?
There is no You're working on pulse width and frequency. There is no power slider.
Yeah.
So don't think of it like a CO2 or a diode, where if you just run the thing at 100% day in and day out, it might burn out faster, because that's not the case.
Well, no, I don't know. I think there's an argument to be made there against what you're saying, because if it relies on duty cycle to change your power output rather than like a percentage of like wattage value, then technically, if I was to run a UV laser at 50% power, what I'm really doing is running the laser on half the time and off half the time. So technically, it's running for less time. Crickets.
I don't know.
That's how duty cycle works. Like 100% power means it's on the entire time, and 50% power would mean it's off half the time and on half the time. I don't know. I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just posing a question.
I don't know, but
either way, talking about like the duration of the pulse and then the frequency of the pulse is creating your power band. So
they add up to they add up to your like duty cycle, I think.
Yeah.
Well, so
I think that's an excellent question. I just don't have an answer.
My laser is a 1300 by 900 cutting area, so CO2 gantry with the red dot offset. And then when I set it, it works as expected, but it cuts the cutting area down by that amount. Yeah. So the reason why is it's fixed onto your gantry head, and you might quite possibly have one of those angled red dots too that isn't coming out of the nozzle even. So depending on how you are doing the offset like that specifically, yes, you are going
to say that's a psychotic offset. That's huge. I didn't understand why it was so big. Like
17 millimeter by 15.5. Yeah.
Like pointed straight down at the table instead of
it's gotta be not through the nozzle. But yeah, the reason why you're losing that area is because the red dot can only reach so far from its fixed location. Whereas with a galvo head, it's literally just a mirror change to get it to come out from the same point as the laser source. So yeah.
Yeah, it's set off the side of the nozzle, they say.
Yep.
It's interesting. That's like the way the D1 does it, where it's like up in a corner.
Yep.
Away from it. I would never trust that. That would drive my OCD crazy.
Did you guys notice the D1's no longer on the X-Tool website?
No,
I did after it was brought to our attention by that comment we saw on the channel. Yeah, kind of sad. I really like that machine.
Yeah, that was their entry level get in the door with X-Tool laser right there. Was the D1.
Yeah, the comment said it was discontinued because of safety reasons, because it was like a class 1 laser, or class 4 laser, but I don't.
Yeah, not enclosed.
I don't know if that's true.
I did do a little hunting around when that comment was initially made. This is a comment on the channel, just for context. Somebody left for us to read. I wasn't able to find any like news article or blog post or anything from them stating.
No, it's very quiet. Yeah.
So for all we know, it could just be that it's an old model. I mean, the D1 has been out forever, and the D1 Pro was realistically just a slightly modified D1.
I know, but
it were different, but
worked. It made sense. Why would they get? I mean, I get like your Galvo lasers are out and you're like super stoked about them, but they're also thousands of dollars more.
Yeah.
So why they didn't replace it with like a D2? You know,
actually, what Resin said, they have the S1, but it's more expensive. So the S1, if I remember, is like a $1,900 entry point or something. Or no, maybe it's cheaper. Maybe that was a kit.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it's $1,900 for the 40 watt. Let's see what you can get. A 10 watt is still $900. So it's $500 more expensive than a really nice D1. That's disappointing. Yeah. That disappoints me.
So,
I really liked recommending the D1, especially at its price point it was at right before it died. That sucks.
So, yeah, at least in terms of X-Tool's entry-level like diode gantry point, that is a pretty significant hit. I want to hope that they come out with something in the cheaper price range to bring that back for people. But the other piece of that too is sometimes a fully enclosed gantry just isn't for everybody.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, Chris is working right now. He's literally out there right now working on his table, and we're talking about how we're going to use the D1 Pro to do a mark on the tabletop, which we definitely, I don't think would be able to do. I guess it has a riser kit. It must have a hole in the bottom or something, but it's not going to have nearly the working area unless this thing is massive. I don't really know how big this is either, but I don't know. As usual, I'd have to see one in front of me.
Well, Either way.
Write X Tool and tell them to send me one.
Either way, in terms of what to expect out of them and why that was a trigger pull, I have no idea.
I can see like their bean counters and lawyers being like, we can't sell an open gantry anymore for liability reasons, and kind of using that. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I mean, that's all just speculation, but
a lot of companies have gotten a lot better about adding disclosures and safety precautions in the
for sure,
user manual.
Yeah.
I mean, do I think it's good enough in most cases? No, because there's still so many people who are like, what? I'm supposed to have safety glasses like 3 months into ownership, and meanwhile, they've probably destroyed their vision.
Resin just nailed it, by the way, in the comments section.
Resin, yeah, that's fair. I mean, as long as companies are properly giving that safety information out and giving glasses, that's cool. In the context of like being like a classroom appliance, I could understand why they'd want to go with like an S1 type of machine where it has a full enclosure, because you can't trust 20 kids in a classroom to keep their freaking safety glasses on because they're kids. Yeah. But, so like a D1 probably wouldn't be ideal.
I think just in general, we're seeing a shift away from the open gantries. I mean, look at all the We Creates and the S1s and all these new diodes that are coming out are enclosed. So I think that's kind of just like the way everything's like the winds of change are shifting is like toward that enclosed structure.
Yeah.
So that might just be the way things are.
For households with kids and pets, definitely a strong point too.
Yeah.
Did you guys see?
I don't know how
many. They're starting a pre-sale for their direct-to-film printer that they're coming out with.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty snazzy looking.
You can pay a deposit and get the limited $3,999 Kickstarter price.
They definitely have a nice website. Good marketing.
X-Tools all marketing. We've always said that.
Yeah.
If I had a market and the time to get into DTF, I would be into trying it out, but I can't justify the price right now personally.
Yeah, me neither.
And I also just don't have the space to set up something with ink like that. I would be ruining a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Alex said, printers are annoying. Ink.
I don't like wet things. I don't want shit to be wet.
Just the maintenance of ink.
Garrett says, I strongly dislike them, but I do see the appeal for non-technical people, which plays right into resins. X-Tool has become the Apple of the world.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
Yeah, it's I don't use Macs either, so here we are. But good for them. Hooray for the democratization of technology. Well, we're at an hour. I wish I had more to talk to you guys about. It's not very interesting sitting and editing 50 episodes of a podcast and writing PHP scripts. So I just don't have that much laser stuff to share with you guys today, which is unfortunate. But we'll have more because we're caught up now. Yeah. And Rhiannon's I just gave her my edit drive, which is all of the bullshit that I've been putting off. And she banged out literally 2 episodes today off of it. So I think that you guys will have, for real this time, a lot more content coming in the near future. Because are you feeling more comfortable in the edit bay?
Yeah, I feel like the podcast helped a lot for these other videos that take a little more. So
yeah, like warming up with podcast edits, and now that you've got 1 million of them under your belt, you're feeling a little more fluid.
Yeah, I probably could use some help with like, I don't know, the whole cuts versus like how it looks on the screen and the audio, but
practice.
If it's just doing like simple things, and
I taught myself how to do it. You'll get there.
I like Caden Live.
Yeah, Caden Live is good, free and open source. You should support them.
Yeah.
But not before you support us over at the Laser Master Academy, masters.lasereverything.net, the #1 way to support the channel. If you guys are enjoying the content and you want us to keep doing more, that's how we pay all the bills. That's how we pay all our employees. With some very, very well appreciated support from our sponsor, Johnson Plastics Plus, who made today's podcast possible. If you haven't already this week, because they do get new stuff literally all the time, make sure you go check them out with the link down in the description. And there's a discount code down there too. That'll get you 15% off just about everything in the store. It's called YLR-ZDF. You can use that anytime. using the affiliate link down there really helps us out big time. And we're super glad that they could continue their support into 2025. That is what I was going to say earlier. The thing that I forgot that I'm now remembering is that this is the first episode of season 4 of the Laser Source podcast. This is episode 151, which means we're officially in our 4th year of the Laser Source podcast. So, hooray.
Heyo.
Papa, party
Woo.
popper, if you got one. But do you guys have anything else before we take off? Go subscribe to Anthony's channel, Beaming Up Laserworks. Go buy some tape.
Have some cool stuff coming out.
I'm ready for that lens video, dude. I want to see it.
I want to try and get my hands on a blown up laser source to dig into as well, but that's proving to be more difficult than I thought. So
I have one on my table that we're supposed to be testing that we haven't done yet.
That.
Yeah, we've been neglecting that. We need to do that soon.
Maybe next week.
Did I tell you guys about that already? Really? I did? Yeah, okay, good. Well then, if you don't know what I'm talking about, catch up on the Laser Source podcast. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for coming out to another live episode of the show. And prepare your butts for some edits. We'll be coming out rapid fire.
Real fast.
Real fast. As fast as they've ever done it. You guys were here live. Thanks. I appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
thanks, everybody.
Do Matt's finger guns for him, Anthony.
I did.
Rand did it.
I take it back.
Okay, I don't care who does it. I just want to make sure it gets done.